to see how long Diniz can hold off Gordon for, because I feel like Diniz's ability to negate people's game is incredibly effective. He basically, I mean, if we combined all the minutes in the matches I've had with him, that's a long time of him shutting down my submission attempts, right? So, but given it's a 30-minute match, Gordon has a submission advantage. Basically, it's going to be very difficult for Matheus to submit him. I'm not sure what Matheus' career submission percentage is, but typically I would imagine it would be more points or decision victories. And given the rule set of who's number one, I'm really intrigued to see if that opens Matheus Diniz' game up a little more, because I know he likes to play basically the point system, right? And for who's number one, the point system are submission attempts. So Diniz is going to have to really get in there with Gordon to try and put some points on the board for some legitimate submission attempts, which might cause the match to progress quicker, unless Diniz wants to shut him down and make those attempts later in the match. But if anything I've learned from training with Gordon is the longer a round goes, generally speaking, the more it plays into his favor. Because although he's jacked and he's pretty big, I would say his technical efficiency is very strong. So like, say if me and Gordon were to roll in the gym, his technical efficiency takes over. So the longer the match goes, the better he gets. Whereas for me, my chances in the first couple minutes, but after that, Gordon really takes over. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. But I do think Gordon has the advantage everywhere. I would say, obviously, his bottom game is going to be superior. I would say his passing game is going to be more effective. And on the feet, I'm interested to see how that plays out, or if it does play out at all on the feet. But I mean, the wrestling is probably the closest skill set in the match. But again, it is a submission-only match, so the wrestling's only going to take you so far.
What about the athleticism? I mean, it's no secret Matheus is an absolute beast, right? I mean, you felt it firsthand. You know how strong he is. You know how explosive he is. Do you think Gordon has what it takes to be able to handle that?
I think the explosiveness is only going to be a factor early in the match, because I don't think it's possible for anyone to have such athletic explosions over the course of a 30-minute match. Like typically, people will have, I mean, if Gordon got to a good position on Diniz, he's probably only going to have 2 or 3 explosive movements left before he sort of drains the cardio on that one. So I think over time, the explosiveness plays less of a factor, but it might play a factor at the start in negating some of the early attacks Gordon puts forward.
Now, you mentioned earlier about you weren't sure about Matheus' submission ratio. We checked, and in 75 recorded black belt wins, he's actually finished 45% of those wins via submission. But something of a more interesting stat that I think that came up in our study was the fact that Matheus has never been tapped out at black belt in no-gi competition. Do you think that Gordon can be the first to do it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely based on the length of the match. Like Matheus Diniz is incredible at shutting people down, but against someone like Gordon, that might be possible for 10 minutes. Like Kyle Bain, who's obviously probably even bigger and stronger, arguably, than Diniz, was able to hold Gordon off for about 10 minutes before really Gordon started to take over. So I mean, I don't think anyone could hold Gordon off for the full 30 minutes. So I think Gordon will win with a submission. I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess probably Gordon gets on top, passes, takes the back, and finishes from the back.
There you have it.
There's a prediction. I love it. Real quick.